Well, hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the very special 1-year anniversary celebration of the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Welcome to the show. Pat, how are you, my friend?
I am good. I hope we can recover from the shit show that was my computer's fault last week. So
That was, I
I
got
left
to
you
see
hanging.
myself in a whole new light, which was like front and center right there. I did not appreciate it. No, we're going to be fine.
Yeah. So just so people know, my computer, I have this fancy computer I bought from school with my student loans, which I think thankfully Biden's going to do something about that and forgive them all. So I won't have to
Totally.
pay this computer back. But it never crashes, and it crashed, and I couldn't even restart it. It was just in the boot system of hell. So I tried to join on my phone, but it was just a mess. So we just shut the show down early. But
Yeah.
sorry
It's all
about
right.
that.
I
Thanks
got
for
across
coming.
some really good points, though. Let's
You,
face it.
you must have.
You missed them, but it was fantastic. So how are you? What are how's this week been for you? It's only been 5 days without each other.
Yeah, we had a short one. So this weekend, I had to pay up for Father's Day. For Father's Day, I do electrical work, and I was like, how do I keep a cheap thing that means a lot to someone? So for Father's Day, I gave my dad two ceiling lights, like the
Oh,
recessed
nice.
lights, and they're only like $20 a pop, but it's like forever in labor. It was a nightmare putting them up, and they also had a fan out, so I fixed their fan. So I have
Oh,
like son of the year cred for like
you really
that. I'm gonna
do.
be like the best son for at least like 2-3 months.
Nice work. We did
Yeah.
nothing for my husband for no, that's not true. Xander cooked him a nice dinner. Actually, that was very nice. And then we did go out for dinner on Monday. But yeah, that's a good one. That's
Anything
a
else
good
for
one.
your son is an amazing cook, by the way.
Thank you.
Kudos
I
to
hope
Xander.
I hope Xander's tuning in and hearing all that. My other son is traveling right now, Asher, whom you have not yet met. But Steve, hi.
Xander's
Yeah,
my
he's been
favorite, by the way. I just want to put that out there. I've never met.
You've never met Asher, but he's hurt. I'll be a little hurt for him because I made them both, so I have like pride in both of them. But yeah, Xander's pretty great. He'll have dinner waiting for me when I get out of here because Josh is on set filming a movie day one today. It's kind of a cool premise. It's about a house of social influencers, and it's a horror movie. And one by one, they get killed off in the most horrific, gruesome, disgusting kill scenes I've ever read. So day one is today. Lots of blood. Are you frozen or are you just not impressed with what I'm saying to you? Oh my God, he's frozen again. I can't believe it. Either that or he's really good at staying still. Pat, I can't believe it. We're doing it again. Okay. Let's see what is happening. Are you there? I can't tell. I'm so blind that I keep looking and not telling if this is obviously not a joke. He is totally frozen. Does he realize we don't hear him right now? Pat, you got to log off and log back on, my friend. Oh my God. Okay, there I am. I knew it was going to happen. I'm going to wait for a moment to see if Pat's able to sign back on. I can't believe it's happening again. He worked like all through the weekend to fix his computer. He had gotten it all sorted out. It was up and running. Everything was great. Let's give him a minute or two to see if he can log back on and restart it. And if not, I do know that he has a backup computer ready to go. So let's just hang on for a moment. We do have a lot to talk about. Yeah, it's the Lila show now. Thanks. I'm seeing you got this. Thanks, everybody. I totally appreciate your hanging out with me because it is a little bit unsettling when all of a sudden everything goes. And of course, I don't want to start the whole wheel without Pat, but I see he's left and I know he's going to log back on if he can find the invitation, which I could see him not knowing how to find. So I'm going to quickly text that to him. I feel like I'm everybody's parent here. All right, I'm texting it to him really fast just in case he needs the address from his computer. from his other computer. Yeah, so we definitely have a lot to discuss this week. We can look forward to banning contraceptives and gay marriage. Yes, that is next on the docket. And I don't know if you saw, but well, we have it, but Cornyn also on my way from the computer, he's coming back. He's texting me. Yeah, they're already talking about revisiting Brown versus the Board of Education, and of course, gay rights. We lost Miranda rights this week. I don't even know how they ended up coming down on the side of or against the EPA, which I'm pretty sure is what happened today. I mean, they are gutting every single civil rights protection and environmental protection. And we have no opposition party to do anything about it. We're just getting tons of, calls and texts and begging for money from a group of people who are in power right now. It's been really interesting this week. I'm just going to keep talking until Pat shows up, to see the people who have been so propagandized by Democrats that they keep responding to anything anybody writes, like, well, they just don't have the numbers. Well, they just can't do anything. Well, if they, eliminate the filibuster, then what are Republicans going to do? Well, right now, we all know they're going to eliminate the filibuster and get done everything they want to get done, which is exactly what Mitch McConnell did in 2017 in order to get Gorsuch. I don't understand the lack of ability for Democratic voters to hold these leaders to account. It's a real problem because I think they are truly invested with a sense of moral rectitude that they have. Here he comes. I see him. Moral rectitude that they vote blue. They vote for the good team. Pat, get back up here, buddy. They vote for the good team. They feel really good about that, but then they don't take any responsibility for their team enabling fascism. It's really mind-blowing. So yeah, this is going to result in civil war and societal collapse. Unless Democrats allow a true populist on the left to run, which, I mean, we saw what they've done twice, and they're showing no inclination right now to change their tactics. I think you're right. I mean, I don't even know civil war. I just think we're going to lose more and more of our rights and be pushed further down. Do I have to put you in here, Pat? Is that what you were waiting for?
I was waiting on you. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know. You can add yourself?
No, I'm just a guest when I follow this link.
Oh my God. I've been talking. He's been like sitting there looking at me for 3 minutes. Sorry,
Judging.
everybody.
Mostly
You're judging.
judging.
Okay, so wait, does that mean that I'm in control of the wheel, right?
You are, but my computer is up and running. I should be back on the regular studio here shortly if you want to just wait a second.
All right. Yeah.
And if it crashes again, I'll just hit my laptop and we'll go from there.
Okay, definitely. And Lana, I see what you wrote. Yeah, we're actually going to have Joe Firestone on, I think the end of July. And I really do want to talk about all this because the thing that I reject entirely is that there's nothing we can do, which is what every, sort of like dyed in the wool Democratic voter seems to be standing firmly on. We just have to elect more Democrats. Well, we're not going to get to the supermajority anytime soon. So too much is going to happen in that time, so we have to, fight on all fronts as our whole Washington and Red Beret friends always say. Oh, there he is. Yay. Oh my God. Pat. For God's sakes, man.
You were thinking 2 weeks in a row, this crap. Holy shit. 1 year anniversary.
I actually put my drink down because I was like, I can't let my face get as red as it did last time as quickly. I gotta wait.
All right. If this happens again, roll that fuck Pelosi clip and we'll just
and we'll just
give me time to get to the other laptop.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for reminding me. I forgot that I had it. All right, I'm gonna click out of this other stuff. Try to make sure I don't have a lag time. You got to get that wheel up and let's hit it.
Oh, I'm on it. I am so on it. You have no idea.
All right.
Just give me one more second to add one more thing.
That's right, Michelle. So many fronts. Fight on all of them. I'm liking our new background. Love to hear from the rest of you what you think, but it has a little more texture. Little something different for us. All right.
I think we're good. Should we let's go to the wheel?
Let's go to the wheel.
Hey, by the way, how did Lila do without me? She could run this show on her own.
Please don't weigh in. I didn't have any of my screen sharing things ready to go. I had my drink ready to go, and you caught me off guard. I'm picking my drink back up, and I'm going to let you spin the wheel.
This was just a test to see if you have the muster for corporate media. You got to roll with these things.
I think together we are a great team. But you've proven to me now twice in a row that I love to have you next to me. Wouldn't be the same without you, Pat.
Awesome. Let's do the hash wheel. Let's go. That just plays forever now, doesn't it?
It goes on forever. We're having a few technical problems. Listen, it's only been a year. We're still ironing out a lot of shit. I do just want to say, Jill wrote in to say she's having a dark and stormy, which I have yet to try. I think it's the rum drink that's like not the Manhattan, the Moscow Mule, but with rum. I think I'm gonna have to try one of those. And yeah.
That sounds awesome. When I was on my little vacation, Manhattan's was my drink of choice. Manhattans were my drink of choice. I like that boozy sort of, like you get a little bit of sweetness, but it's like a sippable drink. Like it's slow. It's boozy enough that you're going to sip it, not like dunk it, you know?
Yeah. I need to find something like that. Thank you. Rum. Okay, good. Yeah. So like a Moscow. Oh yeah. Ginger. Okay, yeah. Moscow Mule, but with rum. We still need to do a show where we have like different drinks for every segment or something fun like that. I just need a bartender with me. Oh, maybe Xander can do that for me. I taught my kids very early how to uncork a bottle of wine. All right. What do we got on the wheel? It's funny. We had planned originally for the show to be just like inspiring clips, videos of things going on in the world that would keep us all feeling, keep us all feeling positive and happy. On some level, things are so sad, and it's nice. Part of the reason that we have drinks and try to keep things a little light while we're talking about all these devastating occurrences in our world is because we want to keep some hope alive. But then the Roe decision came out, the responses to it, and we were like, yeah, we got to go back to the regular stuff. So one day we'll do a Keep Hope Alive wheel. But for right now, let's see what we got. We got Fuck You, Pelosi. We got Union Strong, Capitalizing on Roe, Woke No Joke, and Hot Cop Summer. Oh, and Dem Fools. Oh, we have a lot. I forgot how much we had. Let's get to it.
All right, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. Come on, that's great. I love that. I love it. All right. Starting off with a shot. We already pre-gamed a little bit.
We did.
See by the color of my face. Jill says she can be our cocktail hostess. God, I would love that. Wouldn't that be fun?
That's what we need.
Cheers.
To Jill.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. Drink. And I just do want to say, I put the comment up here, but Mona said, I think Mona, I'm sorry because my eyes are so bad and I see it's really long. So I'm just going with the 4 first letters. This is one of the only shows where our hosts don't say anything that pisses me off. I think y'all are great. Thank you. I'm going to frame that comment. Wait, did you take
wait till I get misogynist because it's coming. Geez. Let me tell you, a couple more drinks and it's on.
Where is you just took it away, the shot?
No, I took my shot already.
No, but you took it away from the wheel.
Oh, we had 5 more.
All right.
Do you want to leave it?
Don't go crazy. All right, I'm seeing what everyone's drinking. I love it. 100 proof bourbon. I love it. Scotch. Excellent. I'm doing vodka. All right, let's spin.
Let's go. I also like 100 proof bourbon because it's hot. So it's got the heat to it. It's not so sweet usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Well, this is actually wonderful. And it's kind of the only thing keeping me going right now is to see right now, this is Google searches for join union have increased by 184% in the last week. That's our only hope. So I'm glad that that's where the trend is going, right?
Yeah, if we could just get the media to cover some of it, that would be really nice. But
nobody on US media.
They're pretending none of these unionizing efforts are happening. They're not talking about Starbucks unionizing. They're not talking about Amazon workers.
No.
But if they were actually reporting on this, we would be this much closer to the turn on the tipping point to where people are going to actually make things change. But I think we are at this critical place right now where all these union efforts, people are aware of them, even if the press isn't informing them. And that almost can work in our favor to make other arguments about how the press is manipulating things for capital and for corporate interests.
Corporate owned,
because they're aware of this stuff.
Yeah. And you know what I keep finding is from the UK, where when they do have these people on, we're going to show a couple clips because they're so good. When they have them on, it is the same corporate media over there that tries to sort of negate what they're doing or try to make it seem like the striking workers are the selfish ones. But at least they have the union representatives on, and they are so brilliant. Should we show?
Yeah. Let's start with Union Strong.
There'll be a lot of people waking up this morning who will be saying we have this horrific cost of living squeeze. Fuel costs have gone up dramatically. Even yesterday, they've gone up the most they have in 17 years. Energy prices are soaring. The last thing we need is the threats of rail action, which means on those 3 days when I have to go to work, I can't use my car because it's too expensive. I've got to go on the train, and now I can't do that either.
I'd actually flip it the other way around, all right? In a context where the cost of living crisis is being paid for by ordinary workers, the thing that you need are strong unions and the ability to collectively bargain for better pay and conditions. Now, why the RMT are striking, which is, I notice, not something people have talked about, is that workers who had been keeping the railways running during the pandemic are being threatened with job cuts and a pay freeze, which would mean that their pay isn't keeping up with inflation. And so that's why the union is doing their job and saying, we will use our strength, which is the fact that you can't run this without us, to protect and defend our workers' conditions. That is the job of a trade union. And if it's so important to keep the railway running, because I agree, these workers are totally essential, then the bosses should be coming up with a reasonable package that the workers can accept. Every single person in this country has benefited from rights which have been secured by trade unions and the right to strike, including minimum wage, maternity pay, sick pay. These are all things which, before they were made law, were won by trade unions, and they benefited everybody. Because you're essentially selling a myth to the people of this country. You're saying, well, if you ask nicely, if you play nicely, if you're a good little boy or girl, maybe the bosses will take pity on you. That's not how it works. Workers have one form of power, and that is collective bargaining. And every right we have as workers in this country has been secured by playing hardball.
That gives me chills. Like, that's what we need every moment of every day.
And of course, we had to go to, I'm assuming that was BBC or something, but look, what's happening here with the corporate media shutting down actual voices of people and the protesters and unionizing efforts. It's happening everywhere. They're shutting that down everywhere. But we're the worst at it in the US. In the US, you don't get on the media to say that at all. Like, other countries realize, look, there's these other voices because they have more than two parties. They have multiple parties involved, and there's pressures on the corporate media to at least show some of these views. But we don't. People don't hear that stuff here at all.
Nobody hears about, and sometimes I push back against my liberal friends. I'll be like, oh, who's your favorite labor reporter? But just recently there's starting to be people who I would say, like even for the New York Times, somebody said that was from the BBC morning show. Thank you. Thank you for writing that in. I know I couldn't find it after I clipped it, and I was like, and I wish I could give, I don't know this woman's name. She's brilliant. I love the way she speaks so eloquently about the rights that, when people celebrate anything that we have as a right in this country, or in England also, like that came from labor unions, from militant labor unions. Nobody, and it's like the same thing that they would say about Bernie. If he were just nicer, I wish his tone, as soon as that's not what people are actually disliking him for or disliking labor for. It's not their tone, it's what they're asking. And so the only way that they're ever going to like somebody like that is if they stop asking or demanding those rights. So it's not, that sort of like tone policing is always bullshit.
Yeah, and I like how the host initially, the news reporter or whatever. Well, how does this affects me? It's like, it's all about how it impacts his drive to work, basically.
Right.
It's like the whole deal is about, well, people with better jobs than you need to take the train.
Right.
So
but always, they always blame the worker. Yes, it's inconvenient. It's supposed to be inconvenient. That's what gets people's attention. But like, why not blame the employers? They always blame the people, like the lowest rung on the pole, right?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if the news reporter there was like, can you believe how awful the train people are getting treated in the transit?
Yeah.
Like if you frame it in that direction, instead of the framing, which he starts with, is that you're disrupting
That's right.
people with good jobs instead of your job.
It's always the way they frame it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have another clip of how you fight back against that bullshit. Kudos to Mick Lynch for all of his moments here, pushing back as a union organizer.
We've got people who are doing full-time jobs who are having to take state benefits and use food banks. That is a national disgrace.
What will they do if agency workers try to cross those picket lines?
Well, we will picket them. What do you think we'll do? We run a picket line and we'll ask them not to go to work. Direct lie.
If you are a Marxist, then you're into revolution and into bringing down capitalism. So are you or aren't you?
Richard, you do come up with the most remarkable twaddle sometimes.
The unions don't tell me who I am and whether or not I'm working class or whatever, any of those sorts of things.
I didn't tell you weren't working class. I don't even know your name.
Onto the street. You can see what picketing involves. I can't believe this line of questioning. Picketing is standing outside the workplace to try and encourage people who want to go to work not to go to work. What else do you think it involves? You've also lied that we left negotiations on Saturday and went to a rally. There were no negotiations scheduled for Saturday. You are a liar. The pensions of our members are going to be decimated. They're going to make us poorer not only while we're at work, but poorer in retirement. And that's an agenda that the government has got because they want to subsidise the private sector in this country, as they are doing in the health service, which is being consumed by the private sector, as they've done in the education service, which is being consumed by the private sector.
He should be apologising to the doctors and nurses who can't get to hospital, the patients who can't get their operation, the kids who will miss out on their education today, but also those armed forces veterans who risk their lives for our freedoms, who won't be able to celebrate Armed Forces Day on Saturday.
Do you want to apologise for all that, Mick?
Well, I think Jonathan should apologise for talking nonsense. None of that is true.
And you're a liar. What the rest of the country suffers from is the lack of power, the lack of the ability to organise, and the lack of the wherewithal to take on these employers that are continually driving down wages and making the working class in this country poorer year on year on year, while the rich get richer.
I welcome anyone that wants to join us on our picket lines and show us messages of support.
All right, well,
if Keir Starmer can't do that, that's a problem for him, not for us. I don't want people to be inconvenienced, and I want a settlement to this dispute. I can't do that with a backbench MP who's just learnt it off a script. And one of the reasons we're not affiliated is because Labour politicians since Blair have not identified with working class people. And failing to do that is one of the problems they've got in working class communities, and they've left the door open to populists and others to come into the situation. The Labour Party is about supporting working people, or it should be, not triangulating from opinion makers such as the Daily Mail and the Telegraph and the Times. So they've got to sort out their identity, and they've got to come up with a set of policies. There are lower paid people and there are wealthy people in this society. And what's wrong in this society is that there is an imbalance between the people that do the work
to keep this country going, who create the wealth of our civilization and don't get a fair share of that wealth because it's going to people who are vastly wealthy. Labour should be comfortable with backing working class people who are struggling. And one of the ways that they can redress the imbalance is through industrial action where negotiations fail. What else are we to do? Are we to plead? Are we to beg? We want to bargain for our futures. We want to negotiate. And if we're not bargaining, you have to beg. And I don't want any working class people in this country to have to beg the employers for a decent living. And Keir Starmer shouldn't want that either.
Well, that's pretty great. I wish we had somebody like that here. Although I do think, what you said is true. Like, we just don't see them on corporate media. But, Sarah Nelson, Flying with Sarah, she's fantastic. The head of the flight union. Yeah.
Workers.
And I love that, Mick Lynch was calling out Keir Starmer. He is the head of the Labour Party, of course, after they trashed Corbyn in UK. And he's coming out telling them that they shouldn't strike. I mean, they have a very similar setup right now as we do with a Democratic Party, a Labour Party that's completely beholden to their corporate owners. But they have this guy who comes out there and the other young woman who speak so eloquently about this fight and aren't afraid to call out by name the head of the party that is supposed to be the party of the working class.
Yeah, he's not giving the shitty members an A+. Job well done. No, he's fighting for his cause, and allow him on TV here. What's our American version of him? I mean, Bernie is maybe that's part of why his popularity grew so fast, is he had access to occasionally be on TV speaking the truth and saying these things.
Right. Yep.
But more importantly, what's that guy's name? Mick, we had
Lynch.
In a second ago?
Lynch.
Mick Lynch. I thank you for this forever. Remarkable twaddle.
Is that what you're typing?
So I added that to the banners we can use forever.
Yeah, it's so great to see him punching back at the people who are having him on. Again, there's this respectability politics that in this country that is a CIA op. I mean, we know it is, right? The tone policing, it's always about deflecting, right? We're not going to talk about the issue at hand. Could you say it more nicely? I agree with everything you're saying. I just don't like the way you're saying it, right? Like that, we have to go through all of that hogwash every time. And there is a class war. It's been going on. We are losing. They have been waging this war against us for decades. So nobody should be polite, but we need to get on the friggin' TV first. All right. I don't know, Pat.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next fun topic, whatever that.
Yeah, that was so hopeful.
Begging for a shot. But yeah, how sad is it that we have to go outside of our country? We have we show Irish leaders. There's two people we show from Ireland speaking all the time.
Yep. And
now we're going to BBC because you can't hear any truth on our corporate media. You just don't hear it.
I mean, that should be a huge wake up call.
Yeah. But normie Dems are waking up a little bit, and there's hope in what's happening now over Roe v. Wade in a way that gives us hope that they can channel their anger, which is now for the first time getting directed at Democrats for failing them,
right,
into seeing a bigger picture of them failing them on other issues. So, I mean, let's silver lining the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope we get a shot. Yes. That's what Pat was doing when he was logging off. He was changing all of the
doing the important stuff.
Yeah,
the important
that is
stuff.
important. That actually
that's what I have the energy for these days.
I needed some joy. You brought it. All right.
Cheers. Ready? To Mick.
To Mick, and I wish I knew that woman's name. It's terrible I don't, but she's great also.
Claire. Something, isn't it?
No, Claire Daly is the Irish MP, but no, the first woman we showed who was talking about unions, who brought us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because she was great also. I think she also is with the railway workers, but anyway. All right.
Gotcha.
Spin it.
Let's spin some more.
Yeah, baby.
No. What?
I don't know about that sound.
Let me
I'm gonna
just
remove
tell
this
you
one
something.
so we're not too
Yeah.
imbalanced with shots.
If you leave me again today, I am just everybody's gonna watch me just like slump down and fall asleep in the chair. No, I'm kidding. But don't.
They're gonna
leave
watch
me,
you do
please.
should just put the wheel up and spin
That's
around
that'd be hilarious.
and complain about stuff. That's what I would do. I would take
All right.
audience questions and let them.
Yeah. Okay. Get your questions going just in case. All right.
I would
Everybody ready?
use the tickers. Have another shot.
Oh
Can
my
always
God,
have some
that's a
fun with
lot that I'm
tickers.
gonna have to handle.
Probably
Ready?
liquor talking. If you say something awful, make sure this is on the screen. Cheers.
Oh, I already did my shot. Sorry.
That's all right.
Wow. I haven't really
Ooh.
eaten it's like 100 degrees here and I haven't really eaten anything and I am getting happy.
Let's
year.
go.
Yeah, baby.
1 year.
Evil outcomes. Get that off the wheel. Jesus.
This
And Jesus,
is-
when I say Jesus, my Jesus has a Z, so I don't offend the fundamentalist Christian right, which is now running our country.
Yeah, I don't want to offend
corporate-
them.
Yeah, I
God
don't wanna
forbid.
offend them.
Be
That would
polite.
be awful.
It's Sky Vodka. I've been waiting for my, contract with them because I drink a lot. All right,
Cheers
ready?
to Sky Vodka.
Cheers. Oh my God.
Ugh. They're supposed to get easier, but they don't get easier. They get worse.
Yeah, it doesn't take away the taste buds. Okay. All right. Are you sitting?
Back to the wheel.
Back to the
We
wheel.
didn't actually land on the capitalized. Ah!
Yeah.
Burr, burr.
I mean, this is no joke. So first of all, we've known this was coming with Roe v. Wade for 2 months. I mean, we've known it for decades, right? The second in 73 that it passed, it was right away starting to be put into motion. They wanted to overturn it. And this is, yeah.
Yeah, but start us off. I mean, you're right. They ran on it. They literally ran on. As soon as I'm elected, I'm gonna codify Roe for 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah. But Democrats have known
20
that Republicans wanted to overturn Roe for these last 50 years, right? It's no secret. None of this is like, oh my God, you're kidding. They don't want this is what they have explicitly been running on as one of their core tenets of the Republican Party. So it would be nice if there were some plan in action. Instead, Dems crushed the guy who was popular across the whole country and ran this guy who has spent 40 years opposing abortion rights.
Yeah, I think we should go through with some of these just real
All
quick.
right. You're going to have
Joe
to read
Biden,
it.
1974. I don't like the Supreme Court decision on abortion. I don't think that a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body.
Hero. That's hero shit.
1982. I mean, I was born in 70, so I was 4. You
Yeah.
think he would evolve. So in 82, when I'm 12, I see Joe Biden on TV. Joe Biden votes to allow states to overturn Roe versus Wade.
States' rights, baby.
88, I graduate high school. Joe Biden repeatedly votes against inclusion of exceptions of rape and incest in the Hyde Amendment. The Hyde Amendment says that the government can't fund anything that
Federal funding can't go to abortions. But he doesn't even want it to go to abortions for the exceptions of rape and incest. That's a bridge too far for our guy, for the head of the Democratic Party. Okay. 92.
92, he voices his opposition for a litmus test on abortion for Supreme Court justices,
Which is right around the time
Which-
he helps get. Yeah, go ahead.
Clarence
Sorry.
Thomas, and maybe the litmus test on abortion for Supreme Court justices is kind of important to us now. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
94, he brags that he voted against federal funding on abortion on no less than 50 occasions.
Come on.
His words.
Yeah.
2003, votes for a bill that would overturn Roe versus Wade by criminalizing the most common procedures used after the first trimester. Finally, 2006, and this graphic could go on.
Yeah, I know.
Bernie's being nice, but in 2006, Joe Biden, I do not view abortion as a choice and a right.
That's our guy.
How did we have the same thought?
Is that what you just said?
I just said that's our guy.
Oh my God. See, wait, I'm on. I need to get rid of his ugly mug so I can see you. This is why we were meant to do a show together. It's like,
right?
Kismet.
Maybe we need a third person here who disagrees with us so we could just gang up on them.
I don't.
We need some mealy-mouthed little bastard who has nothing. I mean, that's me, but a centrist mealy-mouthed little bastard that we can just go, oh my God, this guy.
No, this is like the 1 hour out of my week where I can just like let it know that I'm amongst like-minded, smart people. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what the Democratic response to this. We know there are a few tactics that they could take. Yeah, same, Kaylin. Right? We could eliminate the filibuster, and then right away you're going to get, oh, wait, what? So it's not even, as some of my liberal friends like to say, he only has 48 because of those two horrible, Manchin and Sinema. He doesn't have enough votes for it. He doesn't even want it. So let's just even stop pretending that to use those two people as an excuse. He doesn't want to eliminate the filibuster. If they eliminated the filibuster for this, then they would have no excuse not to eliminate it for healthcare or for, any other policy that we are all screaming for, that a majority of the country wants, that they can blame on these two awful senators that, by the way, they spent millions of dollars to help get elected while crushing their progressive opponents. They want those people there. I know we all know this, but like, God damn. So yeah, he doesn't want the filibuster. What else could we do? Yeah. 2 months notice. Yeah.
Knowing that this was coming, because the leak came out that SCOTUS was going to
May 3rd.
Roe versus Wade, May 3rd, and they could pass a law to codify it. Obviously, they've had all these years to do it. But instead, they're focusing on telling us right now, of all the leaks, like when you get a quote from the president or a quote from Kamala, like they're not accidental, they're scripted. So they want, the whole thing they want out right now is that they're not going to do these things. So they want to quash all efforts to push them to
we're not going to solve it. There's no money in solving it.
Yeah, they don't, setting up abortion clinics on federal land. Oh, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're not, like, you need to know we're not going to do that. Like, you don't need to hear anything else from us. We're not going to do that. So stop talking about that.
Here's what they did do.
The night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairie.
The fuck is this?
The oceans,
yeah, I know.
God bless America.
And then I know it's awful. Yeah, were you gonna wait? What'd you say?
No, I just said you're muted. But I mean, what the fuck was that? Like, who says let's go sing a song that I learned in like second grade and they made us sing or something? Like, how does that, like, that's like Make America Great Again or something? Like,
it's
like
awful.
It's psychologically awful. What does that evoke? That people are going to sing this stupid fucking song?
We're united. Well,
Capitol.
Nancy Pelosi agrees with you. She thought a song wasn't exactly the right response. There was more.
I am personally overwhelmed by this decision. From time to time, I quote this poem by Ehud Manor. He's an Israeli poet. I met his wife when I've been in Israel. He says, I have no other country, even though my land is burning. Only a word in Hebrew penetrates my veins, my soul, with an aching body and with a hungry heart. Here is my home. I will not be silent, for my country has changed her face. Country has changed her face. I shall not give up on her. I shall remind her and sing into her ears until she opens her eyes. Clearly, we hope that the Supreme Court would open its eyes.
Wow, look at that. Rip something up, clap a little bit, say your poem. Oh my God. Yeah, remarkable twaddle alert. I can't even read it now. Cringe, definitely.
If anyone knows, can you tell me what a twaddle is? Because I just don't want to be overly sexist.
That part below your neck. No, that's a waddle.
Is that a turkey neck?
I'm joking. No, that's a waddle. Yeah.
You could have convinced me. You could have convinced me. I almost bought it. I was like, that's a twaddle.
Yeah, so the Dems, they do have a plan, though. Let's not, they do have a plan. And the plan is send out fundraising emails.
Oh, my God. So,
that's the whole deal.
Yeah. Wait a minute. What do we got?
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, just remember, Nancy Pelosi is taking millions of dollars in super PAC money and funneling it into MAGA candidates in heavily Republican districts where the Republicans going to win, because she thinks that elevating these disgusting candidates will help the Democrat win. But as we talked about last week, all it does is legitimize these, nut jobs.
That's one of her intentionally. It's intense. She's intentionally boosting the most radical views on the right under the guise of making them beatable from the left.
Just like Hillary beat Trump. It's perfect.
But perfect
plan.
It's the Pied Piper strategy all over again, because we all know how much that worked. But they're literally doing the Pied Piper strategy again
with people who are thrilled that we just reversed Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, I mean, she's asking for money. We're getting emails from Nancy Pelosi asking for money to stop, to overturn, to legislate against Roe versus Wade, the overturning of Roe versus Wade in November. We just need one more Democrat. Meanwhile, she is personally responsible for backing Cuellar and getting Cuellar into. He won the primary.
Out loud anti-abortion Democrat.
Yeah, she literally backed him. So she personally is responsible for adding another mansion. That's what that means. She added another mansion while she's sending emails to raise money to get another Democrat into the Congress.
And, right away, of course, I'm sure everybody saw it who's online. Right away, all the tweets went out, fuck Jill Stein, fuck Susan Sarandon, fuck Bernie, and all the people who stayed home, which, as we know, more people voted for Hillary Clinton, who had been Bernie supporters, than Hillary's supporters voted for Barack Obama 8 years before. Bernie went out and organized. But, he was actually 100% pro-abortion rights. He did not pick a VB candidate, Tim Kaine, who's anti-abortion.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, Schumer, remember when Schumer fast-tracked? Oh, now you probably can't even see. Yeah, with McConnell in 2018, all of these federal judges so that they could all go on vacation. Those were like 11 of them, 12 of them Trump appointees. Feinstein congratulating Lindsey Graham on how, the hearings for Amy Coney Barrett were so wonderful. I mean, so the fact that
but let's read that part. This has been this is Feinstein on appointing an anti-abortion person to the court. This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in. It leaves one with a lot of hopes, a lot of questions, and even some ideas, perhaps, of good bipartisan legislation we can put together.
I mean, if there's one thing we should all take away from this, is every time you have a chance to reach across the aisle to white supremacist fascist, you should take it, because that's what our Dem leadership does every chance they get. They will always throw all of us under the bus in order to, party with the Donald Trumps and George W. Bushes and Cheneys of the world.
Right. So they asked just today, they asked Kamala Harris about it because this was the push is like, So AOC had to tweet out a video, a TikTok. I don't know that her policy recommendations are mostly TikToks these days. But that's another issue. But they asked her. So the idea is like, okay, so you have federal lands in a lot of these states that are banning abortion. So you could make this happen. You could open clinics on federal land in these states. And she's like, it's not right now what we are discussing. In terms of states, we also
solve it.
we have to recognize that we are 130 odd days away from an election, which is going to include Senate races. That's literally why you should do it now, because you're on the verge of losing those elections and not having the capability of doing this right now that you could do right now.
They have no desire to. If they solve the problem, they lose their revenue. They are holding us all hostage. They're terrorists. They're holding us all hostage. They are shooting the hostages as one civil right after another is struck down by this antiquated group of, 9 people who are taking away all of our rights. And they have no intention really of fixing anything because they can't fundraise off of it. And again, because it would open the door to people being able to say, oh, wait, the government actually can work to fix these situations, to help us materially, to, enshrine our civil rights and our privacy rights, but they won't do that.
Well, if their own messaging shoots them in the foot, because they're constantly saying the right is a threat to democracy. The right is a threat to a lot of things, but it's mostly our rights. It's a Christian fundamentalist corporate nonsense nation, but the Democrats don't oppose the corporate nation stuff, but rightfully we should oppose their religious bullshit being put on all of us.
Right.
But they're saying that I don't know. I had a thought. I'm just fucking angry.
I know it's really hard not to be so angry. I do think, I just want to come back again because I think we're all probably getting a lot of it from our sort of more normie friends. Like, why didn't more people just vote for Hillary then in 2016? We wouldn't have had this. They keep blaming, of course, individual voters or random people who are not the leader of the free world or of the party that is actually in power right now. They've got it till November. And, this might actually change things for them. I don't know. We're going to look at some clips of people who really are fed up with Democrats, but this might be enough to change things. I kind of doubt it. I mean, I think Democrats are going to lose any possibility of power for the next several years. And the fact that they are doing nothing to fight for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember my point. It's that it was going to come. Thank God. Stall, Lila. I'll remember what I was going to say. So if this is an existential threat to democracy, you don't worry about breaking precedent by overexerting your executive authority or just breaking precedent with anything. Like you got to go for what you got to go for.
That's right.
If you really believe this is like, well, we're not going to get democracy back if we don't win. Well, the way you beat these fascists is to
fighting your ass off.
Show that you're fighting for it. You don't say vote for more of us, period, in November. You have to deliver something, and people are fed up. And this is where we have a potential on the left to maybe reach these normie folks, because if we inform them on what Biden has the capability of doing, he could do X, he could do Y, he could do Z, and they see he's not doing that, that can change their minds.
Yeah. And this thing of like, oh, well, if we eliminate the filibuster, then they're just going to do the same thing. They are. And they did, right? McConnell kills the filibuster to get Trump's court pick over the top. They're going to do it. So to keep saying like, oh, if we do, but by the way, I mean, it's not even that it's because Biden, likes to do things the way they're supposed to be done, or he just, he doesn't want to upset the rules, or, however it's organized. I think we really have to get that out of our heads. It's not like a fear of upsetting the rules. It's a fear of upsetting his donors, who absolutely don't want anybody to see that the government could deliver for the people. they do not want to open that door on any level. He could say it's a state of emergency, the same way he could have given us Medicare for all, right? I mean, there's so many. You could be creative. You are the leader of the free world. Why in the hell do you run for that office if you have no intention of doing anything, of browbeating the few members? It's more than that, but let's just say if it's just the two, just Manchin and Sinema, why are you giving them committee assignments? Why are you giving Manchin's wife a fancy job? Why aren't you berating them? Why aren't you saying we're going to throw millions of dollars into people who are going to primary you? Like, that's how you handle it. At least try if you care about it. But the truth is he doesn't. He's doing exactly what he was put there to do.
He is. And we need to point out to people, like, Cuellar is a huge opportunity for us to point out to our normie Democratic friends that Nancy Pelosi literally right now crushed a progressive in a hugely like easy state for any Democrat was going to win that. It's not like she can't say that state, like, we needed a Joe Manchin to be on the right in that state. She came out for an anti-abortion candidate for no fucking reason, period.
And still is trying to fundraise off of it and read her stupid poems.
So you can't blame one or two people and say, give me money and here's the third. I'm backing the third person that you're going to have to be fundraising against. I mean, like, you're going to have to be.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right.
Should we move on? Or
yeah, let's move on.
All right. And we don't have a hard out at 6 today, do we? Because I need to bitch some more. We need.
Yeah, let's keep bitching.
Let's bitch. All right, good.
Yeah, baby.
Pour my shot. It's gonna be a shot.
Wait, you forgot to take it off. Pat.
Damn it.
Your contract isn't going to be renewed. Okay, now let's go.
Is there anything we didn't show from Union Strong? We had a few things.
It might have been something.
Google searches. I think we might have
there was something with Starbucks, and now let me see if I can find it.
Oh yeah, Starbucks. Let's see. Look at the kudos.
What do we demand? What will we fight for? If we can't get it, shut it down. If we can't get it, shut it down. If we can't get it, shut it down.
All right. So yeah,
that was good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, there's a reason I left it on the wheel.
Yeah, Steve was all going according to plan.
Yeah, baby.
This is like Tijuana when I was in college, right? That.
Oh my. Cheers. Okay, here we go. Cheers, everybody. Wait 1 second. Cheers.
Removing the shot.
I think we have to.
Yeah, baby.
Ooh, that was loud.
That was.
Yeah, so I don't know if you all saw, but the very first thing that happened right after this decision came down was Capitol Police, heavily militarized, came out to the steps to do what? To protesters who are protesting for their, bodily autonomy. That is what they immediately, that was the response, was to get those people out there. There were snipers on the tops of buildings. I don't know if you can see on the top left there are two little bumps on the top of the building. Those are snipers. Why? Why did they have to have all of those people there? And then should we show what happened in like movement to our good friend Tina Desiree Berg?
I mean, so the point is, what did Democrats unite behind immediately before this? Like, they voted before this to protect Supreme Court justices.
That's right.
They changed the laws to protect, so you couldn't protest near their houses. And so they see what's coming. And if you're here to protect Roe, like, why is that your priority? So what we're looking at a government that doesn't want us to protest. I mean, we saw what happened with BLM 2 years ago. So if we get any win, if any win happens from people in the streets protesting, it's going to lead to more protesting. Just like these strikes, when people strike at Starbucks, and it leads to a virus among Starbucks employees, and more Starbucks are protesting. They don't want that for any policy issue in Washington.
Right.
Any policy issue we win by protesting in the streets and putting pressure on people shows it could work.
Exactly. Which is why, I mean, this graph, is this from Steven Sendler? Yes, friend of show. Biden, $388 million. He doubled the funding for police. Why? Because they know they are stripping away all of our rights. They're hoarding the resources, and they know that there's going to be a breaking point.
There is, and they're pushing back immediately. So we've got a Biden administration. Remember all the stuff that was televised about Trump's administration pushing back on protesters. So now you've got Biden's own administration pushing back on abortion protesters in the streets in every state. Like it's insane. And the first clip I want to show is a friend of the show also. And I want to give a shout out to Status Quo and Tina Desiree Berg, personal friend and friend of the show. But the one thing they do, and I don't care if you disagree with their politics or anything, who cares? I agree with 99% of it, but that's not important. They're actually on the ground doing reporting in these places and covering these strikes and getting attention for these strikes. And I want to see other people criticizing them doing the same, because they are actually getting people.
Yeah, they're on the ground reporting. Exactly. Giving a voice.
So here's Tina actually getting manhandled by LA police officers just a couple days ago. We're trying to protect you.
Protection like that.
You gotta move, you gotta listen. Yes, I can. No, you guys got trouble with this. You. No, you're not. What the fuck? You literally hitting her. You literally freaked out. You gotta move, you gotta listen. Yes, I can. No, you can't. We're trying to protect you. What the fuck? You literally hitting her. Jesus fucking Christ. Back up, back up.
I mean, first of all, proud that Tina's our friend, because she is brave and she's little. I mean, she's small, and they just threw her to the ground and she popped right back up and yelled in that asshole's face. But what is this country? So we can't protest. We can't have press without getting abused by cops.
And I think maybe this is missing, maybe it's not, but this is in LA. This is like liberal California. This is like super progressive California.
Yeah.
And like in Sacramento here, where I live, which is 3-4 hours from LA, we had a choice on the ballot of two allegedly progressive identity politics sheriffs, and they were both running tough on crime.
Yeah.
So like we pivoted from the BLM movement to now under Biden supporting tough on crime sheriffs and police departments and candidates, because they're afraid of us protesting in the streets. So they've sort of brainwashed people to think, but even our normie friends support, like, so this is a generational thing. Like older generations, like my parents were hippies and they understand protests. And they don't understand communism and people pushing for socialism and stuff, but they understand like being in the streets over Roe versus Wade.
Right.
So like this stuff is an opportunity for us to crack some of that cognitive dissonance that they've developed.
And it's interesting because last week after the Chesa Boudin, is that how you say the last name? Boudin recall, right away, all of corporate, legacy media had to write up like, oh, you see that these progressive DAs
SF failure.
But now they've actually had to come back. It hasn't, of course, because it never gets as much attention when they, make amends to their previous statements that were wrong and inaccurate. But there were actually quite a few progressive criminal justice reform candidates that won in California, even up in San Francisco, like in the neighboring boroughs. Down here in Los Angeles, we had a few people who won, and I'm sorry, I'm going to blank on their names, but we should really do a segment on that next week because it was actually much more promising than what they were trying to make it seem like. People are thirsty for a change.
Right. But they also lied their asses off about how crime in San Francisco went up under Chesa Boudin. Total
lie. Yeah.
Complete lies. Like they just, the media message about Chesa was that these liberal hippie ideas failed miserably and the crime is through the roof, and San Francisco is doing great. I mean, they have a severe homeless problem. They have lots of problems. And, but
like he was prosecuting there were a few cases that like people were calling him out for that he is actually prosecuting. He was using funds to try to help with mental health, to try to help, reallocate some of those funds towards homeless solutions. And I mean, he can't take over all of corporate power and give people the money they need to survive. But actually quite a few of his policies, which are similar to defund the police policies, are popular, as they are when you explain what defund the police is to people who are so offended by the slogan. But when you actually take a moment, it doesn't even take that long, just to say, well, what this actually is reallocating funds to help people, to prevent crime in the first place, to give people the support that they need, the way we do in the wealthy neighborhoods. People are overwhelmingly in support of all that. They just don't like those 3 words, which is,
Well, I mean, I personally, as a progressive, I support people like Stacey Abrams. I'm kidding about that. I'm just going to throw that out there before someone screenshots that.
Yeah.
Put up a bullshit
I know,
alert
it's too
or
late.
something.
You're never going to go back.
Stacey Abrams was highlighted at the speaking address, the State of the Union. She was given the speaking address against the I don't remember who the Republican was. I feel like it was what's his name from Texas, the little shithead
Abbott,
who kept drinking the water. What's his name?
Oh no, he wasn't. He was from
Rubio. Was it Rubio? I feel like she was. I don't know. Anyway, she was the chosen one. Like you don't get to do the counter to the State of the Union address unless the party is signed off on you entirely.
Right.
And this is where, like, when you see progressives all allegedly get behind Stacey Abrams, it's like, and of course she worked for CAP, the Center for American Progress,
and threw her hat in behind Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah. Complete garbage.
Progressive
from
hero,
the jump.
yeah.
She protected voter rights in Georgia and launched a program there. But like, did she actually do that? Or is it like, we need to build you a resume. So here's how we do it. That's who Stacey Abrams is. But she's coming out in support of paying cops more. Law enforcement are often paid less than a living wage, and that is wrong. We must raise pay for officers and address violent crime as we work to build community trust and foster law enforcement accountability. Meanwhile, in this state, the cops are making way more than teachers.
Yeah, why does she?
Way more
it's
than
not
teachers.
even less
And she goes
than
to
living
work.
wage. Yeah, what is she talking about?
She goes to work for the cops in this state. She's saying, I mean, who the fuck? Like, how does a normie Democrat, if they're aware of this stuff, not agree with us? They need to be aware of this stuff. Is the point.
That's the thing, is that they're not. It's kept off of mainstream media news. It's kept out of the New York Times. The New York Times lies about what happened in San Francisco. Huge splashy page on Huffington Post. Criminal justice reform, progressive district attorneys, people, they were shot down. That's what this election showed.
Yeah.
So that's what like makes it onto the front page of everything. And then the retraction is a little blip that nobody sees. So they repeat that lie long enough, and that's what people start to believe.
Well, and America has been trained to think San Francisco liberal,
Right.
So that's like San Francisco is the most progressive lefty place in America, allegedly, where Pelosi keeps winning election after election. Like it's not.
We feed our
Trust
people.
Me, it's Silicon Valley. It's like billionaire money in San Francisco. You can't afford to live in an apartment. I mean, a regular old dumpy apartment is like $4,000 in San Francisco.
Oh my God.
So,
yeah.
But they think, okay, so San Francisco, this hippie liberal place, saw Chesa Boudin, this liberal DA's approach, and it failed. So the public thinks even hippie, dippy San Francisco rejected this guy's ideas, which is not remotely near reality.
Right. Yeah, it was based on lies, and they're always reshaping the argument, right? So the parameter of it is just about this one town as a city, and then they left out all of the evidence that would, go against their big thesis. It's sick. I mean, we just really do need more independent media out here showing people what's happening. All right, I think we need to. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I think we should show people what's happening.
She's gonna get hit by a car.
All right, I'm gonna turn that off, but you get it. It goes on
to protect and to serve. Yep.
Minutes. I mean, it's
disgusting. Yeah. It's disgusting. That is not what police should be there to do. I mean, I'm reading Mariam Kaba's book, We Do This Till We Free Us, about abolition, and it's so smart and filled with love and hope. But we have to end this. Yeah, absolutely. We've got to smash the whole concept of having police in our midst, because this is it's not working.
It's not, but Democrats are working to protect
property, capital and property. I mean, that's really what it is.
But they're protecting the system right now. They're enhancing. If democracy is at stake, you would want, if you believe their argument, democracy is at stake, you would want protesters and the people to rise up and be a check and to be a check on the Supreme Court. But you've got Biden losing every opportunity. Historically, presidents have pushed back against rogue Supreme Court. That's happened forever. And Biden is not pushing back at all on this stuff. And they're actively putting out leaks that they're not going to do this stuff. Every time they have a report in front of them, they're offering an opportunity to tell the public, we are not going to use this tactic. It's all about voting. It's all about voting. It's all about voting.
That's right.
And let's spin the wheel, have a shot or two, and get the fuck out of here. I'm angry. I'm starting to get angry. We didn't want to get angry tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, this is actually hopeful. So the union stuff and this bring me a lot of hope is that I think a lot of people, a lot of even normie Dems are waking up to the fact that the Democratic Party is not fighting for the policies they pretend to care about in election times. So where did we put it under? Okay, so this was great. And these are two young people. Probably they weren't major Democratic, affiliated people anyway, but this was right after the Roe v. Wade decision came out.
For abortion rights. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Zoe, talk to me first about why it is you wanted to come out here today, because something that struck me was when you were speaking earlier and you mentioned your anger because you had received a text message from the Biden campaign. Why is that?
So I received a text message from Joe Biden's campaign yesterday saying that the Supreme Court had overturned Roe versus Wade and that it was my responsibility to then rush $15 to the Democratic National Party. And I thought that was absolutely outrageous because my rights should not be a fundraising point for them or a campaigning point. They have had multiple opportunities to codify Roe into law over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they haven't done it. And if they're going to keep campaigning on this point, they should actually do something about it.
What are you most worried about, Julia?
Boy, I wonder if they're ever going to put a reporter on the streets again in MSNBC and have to hear some uncomfortable truths about their party.
Yeah, we should follow her career.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't cut the mic.
I guarantee we could have her on the podcast. That's how good her career is going. She's available.
Here was Beto O'Rourke going down to a protest.
Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, recall your blood. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, recall your blood. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, recall your blood. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, recall your blood. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats.
So, I wonder if they're hearing it. And also, and here's the other thing, I wonder how much they care, because I don't think Democrats care if they lose. They really just want the fundraising abilities and the cushy lobbying jobs or the think tank jobs. So I don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, look, given a choice, I think most Democrats would come down on the right side of things, but it's all about power. Like, how do they preserve power? How do they preserve their seat? How do they preserve their fundraising? So here's another clip from Status Quo. Yeah. So Beto, first off, Beto is not progressive. Fuck Beto entirely. Look,
you don't like it when he jumps on this.
If it's down to Beto, if it's down to Beto and some Republican, vote for Beto. I'm not saying don't vote for Beto. Vote for him, but he's not a progressive. He's a bullshit artist. 100%.
I am not voting for corruption ever again in my whole life. It's very freeing for me, and that's my feeling. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait. Did I just say vote for Beto?
You did.
Those were the shots talking, because fuck Beto entirely. But I mean,
thanks, Nathaniel.
If you have to vote for the lesser evil,
no, I know. I mean, if it makes sense never to vote you,
if there's a really awful guy on the right, and I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just saying if you do, I'm not going to judge you. That's a terrible choice that affects your state in certain ways.
Of course, I will never vote shame somebody.
But let's just, I want to say that, I didn't plan on this, but people like Status Quo and Jordan Chardon, people can dislike him. Like I said a million times, I barely know the guy, but he's on the ground reporting, and this is footage that should be shown on MSNBC and CNN, and it's not. So anyway, here's a clip from Jordan.
And also to urge President Biden to publish the Equal Rights Amendment immediately. It has reached the 38 state threshold it needs to be ratified as a constitutional amendment. Trump blocked the amendment from being published, and now Biden is doing the exact same thing. When he goes up to a microphone and he makes a speech, he panders to women and he says he cares, but actually in the background what he's doing is actively working against women's rights and the Equal Rights Amendment in the courts. He's actually fighting the ERA in the courts. Joe Biden could reverse this decision and make abortion a constitutional right with one 5-minute phone call to the United States Archivist.
For people that don't understand that, explain how he could do that.
So the Archivist to the United States Constitution, it's their job to certify and publish amendments to the Constitution. And it would just take one phone call from Biden to the Archivist to say, publish and certify the Equal Rights Amendment right now. That would give women a textual constitutional basis we would need to have abortion as a constitutional right.
Do you think that Democrats would prefer to fundraise for the election off of this?
Of course. I got at least 10 emails and text messages today from Democrats asking me for their support. And you know what I say? Not another dime to the Democratic Party until women have a constitutional right to equality. And that is easily achieved by a 5-minute phone call from Joe Biden. They lie, they pander, and they refuse to publish the ERA.
I wonder what you think also. President Obama in 2016, when Mitch McConnell blocked his Supreme Court justice, he barely put up a fight.
That's because there's no money to be made in a solution. Democrats never want to fix the problem because they can fundraise and they can go get voters and they can go get volunteers if there's a problem. No money is made on a solution, which is why they don't find one. So at least we know that the Republicans are against us because they don't lie. They tell us, hey, we're against black people having rights, we're against trans people having rights, we're against gays having rights, we're against women having rights. The Democrats lie.
So, first of all, let's get her on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you to Status Quo.
I'm going to do my best to marry her.
That's amazing. I didn't know that before I saw that video, which is, again, like they keep us so in the dark from all the different tactics that Democrats could be using to fix this problem. So kudos to this wonderful woman. Kudos to Status Quo. And also, I just want to say we used a clip from Breakthrough News before, and I didn't mention that, but I wanted to thank them also. But go ahead, yeah.
But this reminds me a little bit of the moment when Trump was in power and the media pushed this narrative that like his I almost said strategery, like that for the kids in the audience, that goes back to G.W. Bush, who said strategery. Anyway, his strategy, Trump, the media had this whole narrative for a while that his strategy was to deflect from one awful thing with a new awful thing and then move on to the next awful thing. And that's the awful thing. And that keeps people like dancing. So Republicans, Democrats right now have the loss of abortion as their strategy, which is going to take up the main focus of the media is going to be on this abortion issue, which it should be, but there's so many vile things being overturned by the Supreme Court that are going to get drowned out by this. We've got Miranda rights, school prayer, the gun stuff recently.
The EPA. Did you see the thing? I mean, this is also what we're fighting against is John Cornyn talking about, I want to find his tweet here. Now Duplessis versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board of Education. I mean, he's talking about reversing separate but equal laws. They are really, and when you have a party that is so loudly declaring their explicit desire to turn us into some fascist Christian state, and then you have a Democratic Party quoting Ronald Reagan and talking about how we need a strong Republican Party and how we're going to reach across the aisle, and completely incompetent to fight anything they're doing because they're complicit, while they crush the left. Like everybody on a dime turned to crush millions of people who were supporting Bernie Sanders in the primary. Nobody had ever won the first 3 primaries and not gone on to be the nominee. They did everything like that. Barack Obama came out of his fucking money cave 3 times in 4 years to shut down Bernie, to shut down the NBA strike, and I don't know what to tell us, don't vote.
But so if you want to portray to the public that you represent their interests and that the right does not, what you do is you overexert your executive authority, or just exert it a little bit. But at worst case scenario, you overexert your executive authority and it gets overturned by the courts. But it shows you're fighting for this shit.
Yeah.
So even if you believed any of the arguments, there's so many nonsense arguments about Biden not having the executive authority to fix these things, and on a lot of levels. But what would be if you look at it politically, what is the political cost of fighting for something and having a Republican court overturn it?
Right.
Then you could say, well, I tried, so let's do this. Let's do this through Congress. Let's do this through laws. Let's do this through that. But you're not even trying, and they want to lose. Like literally, like strategically, they're doing everything they can to lose.
It's disgusting. All right, spin the wheel. 621.
Damn it. I didn't know I was going to spin the wheel again. Here we go. Let's go. Shot.
Yeah, baby.
What are the odds? Oh my God. And you all know that after this, I start drinking my Pinot. So like, you know, I gotta drink a lot of water in between. Oh my God, look at my cheeks. But we're celebrating our 1 year. I mean, it's like a celebration. Not that we don't do this every single week.
I only
this
do
time
on
it's different.
Wednesdays.
Yes.
Wait, it's Monday.
Every day that ends in a Y.
Cheers to I don't know,
to everybody hanging out with us for an hour and a half. Thank you. We really appreciate you guys doing this with us every week.
1 year of us figuring out how to do this, and we're maybe we'll figure it out one day, but
okay. Cheers.
God damn it.
Can I just remind people about that clip from Lawrence O'Donnell? Because I think a lot of people forget that there is a way to have power, and it's to show people that you will not vote for them. I mean, I think that's really important.
It is. And I think seeing Lawrence O'Donnell, who is like probably number 3 at MSNBC, I don't know, 2 or 3 at MSNBC, as far as political power, hearing what he said before he became Mr. Play Along, like all these guys, they all have like lefty positions beforehand, which is what makes them get these roles, as they can bring along people that sort of follow them and believe them and trusted them into their bullshit.
Yep.
But here's what, do you have the clip?
Oh yeah, I have it. I was just reading all the.
Or do I need to find it?
No, I got it. I got it.
If you want to pull the major party that is closest to the way you're thinking, to what you're thinking, you must show them that you're capable of not voting for them.
Because the way the Democratic Party is run now for quite a number of presidential cycles is they pick a nominee in a kind of half-assed process that doesn't really represent much of anybody. And then they tell everybody to just shut up. Don't bring up anything that will complicate life for your nominee. You know he's not for you on this. Why badger him? He's not going to be for you for reasons that you don't understand but are good reasons. Shut up. Turn off your brains.
If you don't show them you're capable of not voting for them, they don't have to listen to you. I promise you that. I worked within the Democratic Party. I didn't listen or have to listen to anything on the left while I was working in the Democratic Party, because the left had nowhere to go.
Yep.
Imagine being him and then voter shaming people on the left for a living on MSNBC.
Yeah.
Like, fuck him entirely. And then if you didn't know, like, he's a writer for the West Wing also. Like, I mean,
of course.
It's so much bullshit.
Of course. Yeah, it's gross. All right, what do you think? Should we go out on a little fuck you, Pelosi?
Oh, we need to.
Okay.
Maybe should I just change the wheel? I have the capability. Remember, I showed you the capability.
Yeah, just to make it happen.
Wait, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. Wait. Let's spin that wheel.
Let's spin that wheel.
Oops.
Oops. Oh.
I had to scroll down a little bit, but I fixed it. Oh, look at that.
Okay, you ready? I'm giving you time. I'm buying you time.
I'm enjoying this picture. It's quality right there. Let's see where we land on.
Yeah,
Okay.
baby.
God, I hope we land on the shot.
God, I fucking hate her.
You're not alone. Let's see.
All right. So I just want to preface this with me finally getting around to doing something I promised, which is like the worst. So remember back in when did Biden take office? 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
So Nancy Pelosi was defending Joe Biden in the $600 check from Democrats. So I was on Twitter and I'm like, hey, send me your
your response to Pelosi.
Yeah, I think hashtag fuck Pelosi was trending, or maybe
Right.
I was trying to make it trend. I have
Yeah.
no idea. But I said, hey, send me a little clip of you saying fuck Pelosi. And I got like 300 fucking clips from people in like seconds. Like, it was ridiculous. So here's a few people saying fuck you, Pelosi. And this may be our go-to, like when we have to kill time. Like if there's a technical problem, I'm like, Lila,
we're just gonna keep coming back to this.
I'm gone. I'm sorry, I'm having some issues, but
I might have to go now, so we might have to play out on this.
Yeah, where is the clip? Oh, there it is.
Oh, really? I have it. Oh,
let's play.
Shame on you, Pelosi.
Oh, he left. Oh my God.
Pelosi.
Fuck you, 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 Pelosi.
Should we just outro this?
Nancy Pelosi.
Should this be our outro?
Fuck you, Pelosi.
Wait,
Should we play
can
them
we just-
all?
Okay,
It's
no,
like-
no. I think we're gonna pause it for a second because two things. One is it's
Fuck
already
you, Pelosi.
6:27. I'm gonna pause it. We are. Oh, it's always so weird when I'm on this side, even though I am to the left of you. You know
Fix
that.
it. I'm more left.
We are. I can't stand her. She's awful. She's just awful. But next week we're back to our normal schedule. Wednesday at 5. So not in 2 days, but in 9 days. And we will be having our friend Ron Placone on. He was supposed to be in Iceland, but he got doing shows. He got COVID. Unfortunately, I think he's doing much better now, but he had to postpone the show. He will be coming back on to talk specifically about a cause that's near and dear to his heart that he's been working really hard on, but we should all really care about, which is
The
antitrust
summer.
rulings. So we just wanted to show a clip of him, and then we'll come back and say our goodbyes.
What's up, everybody? Ron Placone here on the beach, and I'm having an antitrust summer. What's that, you ask? There's 2 bills out right now, OMA and ACOA. OMA helps level the playing field for alternative apps. It ends the exorbitant commission and fees that Google and Apple charge for them just to be in the store, and it allows you, the consumer, to decide which software works on your device. ACOA, you know, places like Amazon, they favor their own products and services in search results, and they'll feed you more of their own products and services based on the data they harvest from you. This ends that and requires them to show you all the products and services listed from all the vendors and allows you, the consumer, to decide. These are 2 important pieces of legislation that are antitrust pieces of legislation that we have a chance at passing, but we got to act with the momentum and make sure that these bills get voted on. So go to antitrustsummer.com and sign now. That's antitrustsummer.com.
All right, so I just took Pat off.
damn
I
you.
have been way overserved today. Really looking forward to having Pat on Ron on next week. Pat, my friend, this has been a fun year, and I'm looking forward to many more. Thank you all for tuning in every week and hanging out with us. You guys bring a lot of light into my life because things are bleak these days. So really appreciate all of you.
Likewise, I just want to say I do think we have some optimism with people in the streets and striking and protesting. We have to take that momentum and leverage it into things that benefit the left, that benefit us. We have to make people, the normie Democrats need to be made aware that like this is not a one-off with Roe versus Wade. Like even if they're tuned into Roe versus Wade, they're not tuned into the EPA stuff. They're not tuned into the gun stuff. They're not tuned into like all the things that are happening that Democrats are allowing. So it's an opportunity for us. I'm not an optimistic guy, but like, hang on to that. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Hang on to that. Yeah. Can we make a music episode, music and drinks? We'll do something fun like that for sure. Hang on to
Ron
that.
is a music guy. So maybe we get Ron on to play some guitar or something. Anyway, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
1 year.
Keep
It's been
punching up.
fun.
It has. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.